Started. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Erie Land Bank meeting for October 17th, 2022. And I'd like to kick off the meeting with a motion to approve the consent agenda and minutes from our prior meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. That takes us to the finance report. April?
Sorry, so first on the profit and loss, this is the first one that we've had in the new QuickBooks system since switching over. We are still reviewing all of that information to make sure that it's been transferred over because we are doing that manually. And we do have a consultant that is working with us on that. And then for the balance sheet, all the properties that we had on file were transferred over, so the assets and liabilities for those match as they should.
I did not have any questions on finance. Do we have any questions on the finance report? I would seek a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor of accepting the finance report?
Aye.
Okay, that takes us to citizens' comments. Mindy, did we have anybody request to speak?
No.
No? Okay. No one up front either. Okay. Very good. Then let's move right into report of the executive director. And Mindy, you're covering today?
Today, yes.
Thank you.
So work plan updates, there's nothing too exciting on them other than the fact that we are just moving right ahead with all of the plans. Demolitions have occurred, vacant land that we've approved has been conveying. March Law Firm has been getting a lot of those to do. So yeah, everything's moving forward unless you guys have a question about any of them.
So I know we had a lot of property requests and sales in the last month or so, everything moving through the pipeline.
Yes.
Well.
Yes. We had a few that, one of the items that we're going to talk about today is that need taxes taken care of before they can be conveyed. So we're going to ask you approve that today. And we had one with title issues. So we're just, again, Marsh Law Firm's working on that with us to get it taken care of. And the purchaser is fine with that as long as it's taken care of before we close.
Okay. So do we have a request to, I thought I saw a resolution to approve the work plan?
There is, yes, in the new business, approve the judicial tax sale and then.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Okay,
Yep.
All right, very good. Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and move on to Solicitor's Report.
Good afternoon. That inquiry is very pertinent, and I'm trying to address it here as well. What you have in front of you is a solicitor's report. These are the properties that were secured at the judicial tax sale the end of last year, and what we're working through is to clear the title so that they can be conveyed to third parties. We are making tremendous process. The only one that really came to a head is the 616 Payne Avenue. Again, these are properties that were in the tax sale, and we had I'll say a not local mortgage company say, hey, what about us? Well, you're a little too late. It's already gone at the tax sale. You've been wiped out. So they were on notice, did not object to that. So now it's a little late for them to object when we're trying to clear the title. So they've acknowledged that, and they're sending me a mortgage satisfaction that I've prepared and sent to them, so that'll clear that title. The other properties you'll see that are listed there as far as our clearing the titles. And most of these are people that have passed away again, and then the family members we talked about before are afraid to get in for fear that they're going to be responsible in some way for back due debt or expenses. 2 of the properties were so bad that they were demolished. So when I'm submitting paperwork to the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue and asking for them to give us a value or an amount that would be potentially owed to the Commonwealth for inheritance tax purposes, I let them know there's no house on it. So we can't owe you any potential inheritance tax on a building that isn't there. I took a flyer. I don't know what they will say to that. They may go, well, Gene, when at the tax sale, the building was there. After you folks acquired it, you demolished it. But I'm going, well, that may be true, but I thought that it was worth it. Because a lot of these times, these people hadn't brought the taxes or filed tax assessment appeals to bring down the taxes for them. So I'm hoping, we'll see if it works. And I've provided them with all the information to confirm that it's been demolished. So really only what we're talking about is the lot. So that would significantly decrease what any potential inheritance tax might be owed as part of this process. So I'll keep you posted on that. The next page, I want to special shout out to Mindy for keeping this going. These are the transactions that we have done and the accompanying dates. There is one that's coming up very shortly here. We're closing that for a local couple. And then these are pending, again, with some of those issues that we're trying to resolve. So that when we sell them to a third party, despite the fact that we've acquired them at a tax sale, the Tax Claim Bureau has not updated their records. So they're still showing, oh, geez, there's all these back taxes that are due that we need to take care of. No, so that's all been taken care of as part of the tax sale process. But we're having them update their records, and it's taken a little bit of time, and the buyers are aware of that, to let us help that department, the Tax Claim Bureau, update their records to show there are no taxes owed. Erie Land Bank, you can transfer this property without any back due taxes. That's the whole idea behind the tax sale. So it's just taken a little bit of time, and as we move through these processes, we're finding out that there's little glitches and that we're learning how to expedite and let everybody know, hey, you need to follow up with this, because when the new buyer does a title search, they're going and finding these back due taxes, so we're working through all that. But again, Aaron and Mindy have been incredibly helpful in expediting the process and moving it through to get these properties sold. So I wanted to give you an update as to what we've done and where we're going and how we're going to get there. Okay. Any questions or issues, I'll be more than happy to let you know, but we're moving them.
I don't, excuse me, I don't have a question for the solicitor. I just want to make a comment, because on the second page here, I've noted the transaction to Frontier Lumber at 525 Wayne. I'd let Aaron know, if you recall, when they approached us, they said they were going to build a playground and a picnic shelter, I think. And it's right near me, and I drive by, and they have. So I just want to encourage everyone to drive by. I was excited when I saw that and realized that was in pretty quick order. They went ahead and did that. So that was very cool, very quickly, and did exactly what they said they were going to do. So just wanted to make everyone else aware of that.
That was at the closing. That was it's one of those times when you know that you're making a positive impact. When we did the closing with the owner there, he was excited. He was happy with everything that the land bank had done to help facilitate this, and that's the type of thing that I should have immediately gone back to my desk and emailed everybody and just said, you know what, we are making an impact. This is the type of thing that why we're doing what we're doing, and he was elated to be a part of that. So I'm not surprised with how he was at the closing that they would go and do that right away. So we are making an impact, and that's, quite frankly, one of the things that I really like about being the solicitor is you feel like, okay, I am making a positive impact. I'm just not pushing papers. I am actually helping the community, that we all live and raise our kids in. So thank you. That was a great point. With that, I have to excuse myself. We're not on TV, are we? This doesn't get brought. Anyways.
Probably is.
With that, you guys know why I have to excuse myself.
Yes.
All right. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you for the update. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on then, Mindy, to unfinished business and new business.
Yes, so the first item on here, and actually to just go back to one of the things that Jean had mentioned with the judicial tax sale that we've learned is moving forward, we are going to get an appraisal done on the properties that we take off the judicial tax sale. In the past, that wasn't done, and as we've learned since we've demolished some of those because they were in such bad condition, we really should have had that appraisal showing that there was a zero value to it instead of working backwards from that. So we know that that's what we need to do moving forward. But in front of you in your packet is a list of 15 properties that we are looking for your approval to take from the judicial tax sale. We do have the option to take the properties off of the tax sale listing prior to them reaching the tax sale. Although the owners can still come and pay the taxes and they can be removed that way before we have a chance to take them. But we need to get the list and the option agreements to McDonald Illig, who runs the tax sale, within the next couple weeks. So I did put together some slides that show the different properties. And I have some maps too that I didn't. The maps aren't going to be extremely helpful if you can do this. If you wanted to see a virtual map, I can pull it up online. I printed it out for you too, but it's so small. The properties we picked strategically to go along with the work plans that we already have in place. We have also verified through, I drove to them to see if the utilities were turned off, and we also made sure that the utilities were turned off with the water authority. So, because obviously we don't want to get involved with anything that's occupied. But these are pictures of the properties. You can see a lot of them are in very bad condition. We won't know if they'll be rehab candidates or demo candidates until we're able to get inside and really assess the full condition of them. But the exterior of a lot of them is in bad shape. Okay, thanks. Some of these too are in areas where the houses next door are kept really nice. The previous one that we just saw is next to a school. So we do feel that these should be a priority for those reasons as well to take care of them. So, do you have any questions about any of these? We have it budgeted to be able to take 12. There are 15 on this list. We went a little over knowing that some of these may very well come off with people paying the taxes and things. So.
I just wanted to ask one more time, and I think you've said it. So we identify these from the entire list. We go through, and we've picked these because of their locations based on the strategic priorities, and then, as you mentioned, a couple of other factors. For example, like you said, where there were really stable houses around them, and that's generally how we're picking these?
Exactly, yes. And it also goes by grant funding. So all of these, with the exception of one, are within the QCTs. So the one that is not, we feel we still need to address because of its position in the community.
So mine is more of a comment than a question, but I I'm very pleased to see the focused nature of
Yes.
these properties. And you've heard me talk about this before, so I think that's where we're going to have the most impact, is when we can focus on one area, really go in and make a difference. And it's good they are in qualified census tracts, and I like that. I think a good number of these are going to provide side lot opportunities for folks, so really happy with what I see on the list so far.
Excellent.
Any other comments? So you want us to
Approve, yes.
approve? Okay. Deb, you have any? Can I get a motion then to approve the resolution for the work plan?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Mindy.
So then moving on, the second piece is the land bank property tax exoneration. So Jean had already talked about part of that. So we are finding some properties that have past due taxes that need to be exonerated. So we need a resolution by the board in order to give that to the judicial tax county or tax base so that they can waive those.
Was that in our packet?
Yes, yes.
I just have another question because I'm new and want to make sure, and especially since I am the school district's appointee. So my understanding is we are able to exonerate the taxes, the city and county taxes, is that correct? And then it goes to the school district, for the district separately to do the
Correct.
school district taxes. Okay.
That's my understanding of it too. So.
Right, we make a request.
Okay.
Yeah.
We request that
That they
Yes,
exonerate.
got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions? I mean, we don't like to ever waive these, but to get them back into productive use, it's, can't chase the water under the bridge. It's, is what it is.
Yes.
If we don't have any questions, then I would seek a motion to approve the resolution to exonerate the back taxes on the property list, the work plan, for city and county, and then to request the school district to do the same.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Deb will second it.
Oh.
Oh.
I thought you said, oh, second.
All in
You
favor?
beat me.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so next up on the agenda is to discuss the Sarah Hearn Church, which is located at 947 West 9th Street. In your packet, you will see a memo from Aaron, since he's not here today, as well as some pictures of slides of the building. And we also have Anna France here from our West Bay Front. We've been working together on this project, and it's in her neighborhood, the neighborhood groups. The items of concern with this building is from what we know, the owner has left town. We have heard that there is a mortgage taken out on the property through Key Bank. And we also know that there's a slate roof that needs repair, and there is a flat roof that more than likely needs replaced. those pieces need to happen sooner than later if we're going to stop the destruction happening to the building. It is a very large building. And so at this point, really what we're looking for your approval on is to do some exploratory research on it, to do a full title search to see, check into the mortgages, what those are, who might have them, if there are title issues, and then B, to have some floor plans created of the church and the building. It is boarded right now. The neighbor keeps an eye on it. The neighbor, who is also part of Anna's board, who is also an architect, has offered to do those floor plan drawings in order to start to see what the potential use, the future use of the building could be. So, would you like to interject anything?
Come on up, Anna.
Thanks, Mindy. And thank you all. I think this is the first meeting since the vote to approve our request for 811 West 7th Street in the last round of tax lien sale properties. So thank you very much for that property. This is an entirely different can of worms that we're dealing with. This is a beautiful, old, it was constructed as a Presbyterian church by the same architect, we believe, as the architect of the First Presbyterian Church of the Covenant on West 6th Street. It's nestled right in the middle of a residential block. So it's a little unusual. It's not on a corner. It's not quite mid-block, but kind of off the beaten path. You might not realize the scale of the property just by driving by, because it is the majority of the structure is sort of back and hidden. And yeah, I mean, we're watching it deteriorate before our eyes, and that's not something we want to see. I'm really grateful for Mindy and for Aaron, and then also for this neighbor who happens to be on our board, for raising the alarm of what's happening, because you might not see the destruction if you're not inside or walking around the building. So, to have an opportunity to start to envision possibilities before things get too bad is a good opportunity. And really, the question is, what will become of this property? What could become of it? And it's hard to do that if we don't have some basic foundational information at our fingertips. And so that's really, with this proposal, I think the memo really well covers kind of the situation now and what needs to be done to start that conversation. It is a very unusual circumstance because, there weren't taxes being paid on it, so it doesn't go through the normal tax lien sale process. We think there could be some options here, but the worst case scenario is if we don't do anything, we know what will happen, which is this building will continue to deteriorate, and there'll be a very, very expensive demolition coming up in the next several years. And frankly, the stability of the surrounding residential neighborhood will be dramatically impacted. There are creatures getting in, people getting in. It's already become a neighborhood nuisance, and it's not something we want to see continue. We do think there is potential, and there's opportunities, but we got to do that background research. So that's kind of where we are in our perspective on it.
Yeah, and I would just interject that we have, well, first, I have been talking to some roofers trying to get some estimates on it from the one gentleman who specializes in slate roofs, which is what a large portion of this is. He says it's actually in very good condition. The slate has years and years left of life. It just needs some repairs done to it. It's the flat roof that really is the concerning issue right now. So I'm working on getting those estimates as well. So basically, we're just kind of doing the research right now to start seeing what we can do to prevent the bleed from happening even further. So.
Okay. Thank you, Anna.
Thanks. Thank you.
So we don't know we have to search to see what the liens are out there. If there is a bank lien on it, then it's, I assume, in the process to be an REO.
We don't know. Yes, we don't know any of that.
Okay.
Have we investigated, is it on any historic registry? What's the age of I'm just curious if there's any historic implications of it?
I don't believe it's on the National Register.
No, yeah.
Okay.
And it was built in the 20s, I think, right? About right.
I guess the only thing I just want to say, I have some concern just in setting precedent because we have so many of these properties, you know, and I'm thinking of congregations that are dwindling who are struggling to take care of properties like this. And, you know, I would hate to send a message that all you have to do is kind of walk away and then someone will swoop in and fix the problem. So that's just the only thing that's top of mind. I understand this is a very unique situation because the owners have left. I think most congregations are kind of, you know, last man standing. They'll take care of the property. But it's just something that I think we should think about because I don't think it's the only one like this in the city that is probably falling into disrepair. But I can get past that. I just want to raise that as some caution as we move forward.
I actually agree with what Daria is saying, only because if we start putting money into, you know, looking to see exactly like what's going on with different properties and things like that, like she said, you know, all you have to do is just abandon the property and come to the land bank, and then maybe they will assist you. I guess I would wonder, Anna, would our West Bayfront have any kind of funding to, you know, support this right here?
Our funding is pretty limited and tends to be grant-driven for particular projects, so we don't have any grants that are specifically tied to this project right now. It's not to say we couldn't try to secure such funding, but again, time is taking a little bit on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have an estimated amount for the title work?
Title work would be around 500, and the floor plans we're looking at around 2,000.
I'm a bit concerned as well because I feel like this is taking us off our normal path. We're trying to focus, we're trying to make progress, and it feels like this could really pull us away from that. But yet I want to also help with finding a solution. I think I would be okay with supporting the title search to find out what's there. I'm not ready to spend money on a floor plan, though. I don't know if that's just me. I don't want to get too far out on this. We've got a lot of other things to tackle. If we do the search and we discover that there is a mortgage from Key Bank, this is a Key Bank problem right now.
Right.
This should be an REO, and we wouldn't be allowed to step in anyways, I would assume, for a while. So before we spend money on a plan, let's see if there is a chain that's ahead of us, which I suspect there probably is, and then maybe it's a matter of reaching out to their legal department and saying, you have to do something with this. It's probably in a pipeline somewhere, a legal pipeline.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we've tried to reach out to the bank, but to no success, correct?
There have been some interaction with an attorney that seems to be not high on their priority list.
Right.
Right.
But I think that's
and
really
I
worth
understand that. I
questioning.
mean, I know a lot of these, especially when you're dealing with banks that are not, where those decisions aren't local. I know those can get caught up in a long process. But before we start spending significant funds on something that we don't know if we could even go in and do anything on, I'm hesitant to go too far out on this. I feel like we could, I feel like supporting the effort to dig a little deeper, because it is important for that block. And that's why I think I'm comfortable with the title search, but I don't want to go beyond that.
So the effort here is to be proactive and keep this property from becoming blighted or you know, a land bank property, or.
It is blighted.
Oh, it is already, okay.
Yeah.
Stand corrected.
It's to keep, I forget what the square footage is on it, but to keep a very large building from decaying further, so.
Yeah, which I agree with, but this is not, I can just see the legal department at a bank not ready to sign off on this. It's not, we can't just have our solicitor quiet any claims that are out there. This could be tied up for a while, and I don't want to spend money on plans until we know there's a path. And we're not going to discover what path that is until we do a search. So that's why that makes sense. Now, if that comes back and there's no one between us and that idea, then that's a different debate. But not knowing that,
Sure, that makes sense.
it seems early to start paying for plans.
I was thinking the same about, I'm fine with the title search, that makes sense to me. I do understand the urgency, and obviously we know what water can do and all of those things, so I could easily get behind your suggestion as well.
And I mean, that does make
depending on the
sense, and I
results-
think the reason for the request for the plans is because to start to do that discovery too, but I understand what you're saying, but to start to do the discovery to see, are there any local partners or that want to be involved in this kind of project? Is there somebody that would want a building like this? And given that it's boarded up, it's not easy to take people through to start showing them how big it is and what the layout is and those kinds of things. And so that's why we wanted to request the plans to see what it starts to pan out to be. So,
Well, let's search it, and then we'll let our counsel determine if that's a viable path forward, or if he feels that there's a lot of obstacles and a lot of legal hurdles and it could take a long time, then at least we didn't spend money on plans at this point. Okay. So do you want? Okay. So then I would seek a motion to approve funding a search for 947 West 9th Street.
So moved.
Second?
I'll defer to the second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, other business.
that is all I had, so.
Okay. All right, well, I just want to echo what was mentioned before. There's been a lot of properties going through the pipeline. You guys have done a tremendous job in moving a lot of these properties and having an impact in the neighborhoods, and I think the new work plan, again, reflects that. So thank you for everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
If there are no other comments, we'll adjourn for the day. Okay, thank you,
you.
everyone.